So this is the Stronghold Digital Mining Daily Update. Today is Wednesday, October 11th, 2023. Had a question come in regarding our debt level, right? Stronghold Digital Mining's debt level and what my thoughts are, with regard to hey, is this sustainable? What is it? How are we doing with regard to managing our debt? Okay, so by way of a little bit of context, Stronghold Digital Mining really began engaging a significant deleveraging process, beginning in around say roughly now say August of 2022. Really significant deleveraging. So the amount of debt has been reduced dramatically, right? But there's one core piece of debt which still remains, and that is the credit agreement between Stronghold Digital Mining and Whitehawk. Now, the relationship that exists between Stronghold Digital Mining and Whitehawk is really more of like a partnership in many ways. But it still, I think, is important, right? As per the question I was asked, I think it's important to kind of just go over very briefly the key component of that credit agreement. Now, you can certainly go to the news release section of the Stronghold Digital Mining website, search right around, I think it was like February 11th. Don't quote me on the specific day, but say February 2023. There is a news release that goes into far more detail than I'll be going into with regard to the amendment that was made to the credit agreement. Basically, though, we have what I believe as of Q2 2023 is about $54 million in debt that is still owed to Whitehawk. I can probably confirm that. Don't quote me on the exact number. It's about 54 million or so. The coupon is basically 10% plus something that's typically referred to as a secured overnight. I know it's like SOFR, secured overnight financing rate, I believe. And it has a 3% floor. And if I'm not mistaken, the SOFR, right, or SOFR or SOFR, yeah, is currently, I think, at around like 5.31%. So basically, right, just to kind of keep it easy, we have what amounts to like about a 15% coupon on about maybe 54 some odd million in debt. I ought to check to just double check that number really quickly here. Let me see if I can pull something up super fast. While I do this, I do think it's noteworthy that there are no mandatory amortization payments until June, if I'm not mistaken, June or July of 2024. So that certainly provides Stronghold Digital Mining with a fair amount, I think, of leeway. I have looked right insofar as, hey, when you look at our Form 10Q, have we been making interest payments of any kind? We have. So yeah, as of the time of the adjustment to this credit agreement, there was about 54.9 million. I think it's still about that amount. Okay, as of June 30th, 2023, 54.4, yeah, 54,438,473 dollars, right? So that's, yeah, it's a fair amount of debt, but from my perspective, and let's just kind of get to the core question here, do I think approximately $54.4 million of core debt as of June 30th, do I believe that's sustainable? Is it something I believe Stronghold Digital Mining has the ability to manage? And I think the answer is a resounding yes, right? With some important caveats, right? Hey, look, if tomorrow hash prices were to collapse and not really come back for another 2 years, that's going to be problematic, not just for Stronghold Digital Mining, but for practically every other publicly traded Bitcoin mining company in the land. If grid prices were to go to zero, right, that's going to be super problematic, specifically for Stronghold Digital Mining, just in the context that it kind of then limits our ability to toggle between right? Selling the electricity we produce to the grid, or alternatively using that electricity ourselves to mine Bitcoin. The upshot, right? The good news in grid prices hypothetically going to zero is that we could then I think at that point, we just import 100% of the electricity that we need for zero cost, essentially, right, to mine Bitcoin, because we can do that as well. But I'm just saying, in terms of revenue inputs, hey, if grid prices go to zero, can't really get any revenue from there. If hash prices kind of collapse, go to zero, well, can't get any revenue from there. Yes, we still do have the option of, beneficial use hash sales if we're going to, keep generating, electricity that really doesn't go anywhere, so to speak. But we produce a beneficial use hash. Hey, maybe there's an economic value there. There is, of course, but I'm just saying, would there be enough to cover our, debt payments? That could be a little bit tighter. Does the opportunity exist if we were to start generating revenue through, basically carbon credits, right? Like CO2 capture and usage credits that are tucked into the Inflation Reduction Act. I mean, can that be a substantial source of revenue? It can. But again, I'm just saying, look, at this juncture, as of today, October 11th, 2023, the whole idea of generating revenue through CO2 tax credits, right? That's still, I think, very much something we cannot and should not assume to be something we're going to be able to do. I mean, I think there's great hope. I think there's great promise in it, but let's just assume that's not really there, at least not yet. Beneficial use hash, revenue, that is real. Okay, that's definitely there, but at least as of what we know right now, it wouldn't be enough to really service the debt. So yeah, we can service this debt provided that there are some meaningful, Bitcoin mining economics, and that there are some at least workable, energy economics in terms of grid prices. I really do believe we can do it. I wouldn't be invested in this company if I didn't think we could do it, right? I mean, that being said, I've long stated that, hey, I'm kind of gambling here, right? I'm gambling that the company's going to avoid bankruptcy. And this is a gamble that has so far paid off, right? I mean, the company Stronghold Digital Mining has been written off time and time and time again. And yet here we are. So are we going to be able to handle this debt? I think there is a very high likelihood that we'll be able to. In fact, I'm convinced that assuming, big assumptions, but important assumptions, assuming Bitcoin mining economics are workable, that energy economics are workable, I think we can kind of do this. Now, hey, when are we going to see potentially a real surge in our stock price? When are we going to see that real, kind of like home run that we're looking for as co-owners of the business, as shareholders of the business? Well, that's a slightly different conversation. Okay, right now I'm just focusing on, hey, do we have what it takes to survive? And from my perspective, yes. Now you'll have to come to your own decision, but from my perspective, I think we do, and I think we've demonstrated that we have some staying power, right? For the past year, we've done nothing but deleverage the business, focus on, being really capital efficient, and really focus on just getting the job done, right? Really executing on our plans. So I think we definitely have the ability to survive, right? Now, what's it going to take for us to really thrive? Because that's ultimately what we're in this for. So many people, I mean, it's like, yeah, hey, survival is important. Survival is a good thing. But, we want to do more than survive at some point. We want to really thrive and really feel as if though we're gaining momentum every single quarter. We're seeing our stock price appreciate in value. We're starting to really see the material, sort of like effects of all of this hard work that's been going on behind the scenes. We want to see the tangible material proof of that, right? So I do believe that for that to take place, there is going to have to be a significant sentiment change towards Bitcoin mining companies in general, not just Stronghold Digital Mining, but the entire publicly traded Bitcoin mining sector. There needs to be a different sort of like environmental sentiment, so to speak, as it relates to how the investment community views our types of companies. I think it'll be really, really helpful, okay, if we are also blessed with a bull run in the price of Bitcoin. So if we see Bitcoin start to move up, first it gets above 30,000 again. Hey, now it's at 35. Now we're approaching 40,000. Boom, we're past 40,000. We're approaching 50,000. Hey, now there's talk of, are we going to get up to 60,000, 70,000? Are we going to set a new all-time high? Boom, we're there. We're at that all-time high. How much further can we go? See, once we're in that type of modality where we're really starting to gain some traction insofar as the price of Bitcoin, that by itself, ignoring for a moment whether or not Bitcoin mining economics are good or not, that just from a psychological perspective, that's going to have a huge, huge uplift, I believe, for shares of Stronghold Digital Mining, as well as for the entire, publicly traded Bitcoin mining sector. So I think that's going to be a really critical part of this equation, which then brings us back to this question. Hey, is the United States Securities and Exchange Commission, are they going to continue to fight an effort to have, for the first time ever in these United States of America, a spot Bitcoin ETF? Never mind the fact that the United States Securities and Exchange Commission has blessed the creation, I believe in 2021, of a futures, like a Bitcoin futures ETF. Hey, leave that aside for a moment. Are we ever going to get a spot Bitcoin ETF in this country? And what will it mean when, Bitcoin essentially can really kind of get plugged into Wall Street in a really easy, just low bandwidth, or not low bandwidth, rather very high bandwidth kind of manner, right? We're just like in a snap of a finger, you could buy 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, $50 million worth of Bitcoin, no problem. Hey, want to buy $1 billion worth of it? That's great. Look at, hey, nobody knows, but I suspect this is going to be a big deal for the price of Bitcoin. I did read, and I can't cite the source in real time here, but I did read something to the effect that there could be trillions upon trillions of dollars that flood into not just one spot Bitcoin ETF, but to the whole sort of like little cottage industry of spot Bitcoin ETFs that have the potential to emerge if the United States Securities and Exchange Commission just allows this to happen. So if that were to happen, I do think there's a really good chance we are going to see an uplift in the price of Bitcoin, and that is going to potentially begin the cascade of events which can ultimately lead to that change in sentiment, right? That change in mindset that investors may have regarding not only Bitcoin, but Bitcoin mining companies, which from my perspective are very levered plays on the price of Bitcoin itself. So, in summary, yes, I do think that our debt is manageable. Yes, I do think we can survive. No, none of us, right, are interested in merely continuing to survive day in and day out, month in and month out, year in and year out, forever and ever until the end of time. At some point, we all want to thrive. We all want to see Stronghold Digital Mining step into its destiny, to live up to its full potential. That's the definition of success that I choose to have for this business, for this company. Can we step into, our full potential as a business and really find some really awesome success, right? And see, of course, the price of our stock reflect that success. I think that's something you're interested in. I know it's something I'm interested in. I think it's something we can agree we're both interested in. Okay, with all of that said, let's stay positive, let's be great, and we'll see each other again tomorrow.